Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Lion-O from the Thundercats Ultimates line from Super 7. And right off the bat, first thing we got to talk about is this packaging. I love this. It's got this kind of like chromy, holofoil, whatever this stuff's made out of, where it just kind of shines in the light. I think that looks really, really cool. And such a simple black with the emblem and then the Thundercats logo. I love it. I think it looks really, really cool. Coming around to the back, just have the classic Thundercats logo. If we go ahead and slide this sleeve off, we can see the beautiful figure underneath. We have Lion-O with a ton of accessories. And then if we spin around to the back, we have that. I think this was the cover of Exodus, which was like the first 5-parter that they put out on a VHS. I'm pretty sure they use as artwork for the cover. But you have a cool little bio of Lion-O there if you'd like to go ahead and pause the video and read that. So very, very cool. I think they did a great job with the packaging. I'm really excited for these figures. Now, supposedly this is either very similar or almost identical to the one that Matty Collector did back in the day, but I totally missed out on those. So this is brand new to me, so I'm very excited. I'm going to go ahead, get them out of the packaging, and we're going to take a closer look. So wow, this guy looks great. I'm really, really happy with this. I think they did a great job. Looks exactly like, you know, the original character from the show. They did a great job there. Face sculpt, I think, is really, really good. Let me get a little bit closer. It's a little difficult because, like, the shadow wants to cast over his eyes, but really nice red hair. Face looks great. The only thing on mine is, for some reason, he doesn't want to look down all that much, so he's constantly, like, looking straight ahead or back. And I think it might be, A, because he has a bunch of weight in his hair, and also just because the ball joint on mine doesn't seem to want to move down. Like, it automatically, like, rocks back. So that might just be, like, a weird issue with mine. But you can see, like, I try to push it down and it kind of automatically kicks back. But we'll see. Maybe over time that'll work out. But there's basically, it's like a barbell ball joint. So there's a ball in the neck and then there's a ball in the head. So that's how the movement works there. The top ball joint moves all the way around, no problem. And then this one kind of gives you a little bit of side to side and front to back. He's got a hinge here in the shoulder, of course. I'm trying not to get it stuck, but it rotates up very nicely. You can spin around. You have a rotation in the bicep there. You have single joint for the elbow. And then you have a rotation and a hinge in the wrist. You have an ab crunch. You have a waist swivel. You've got out to the side hinge, and you can kick a little front, a little back, but not too much because of his kind of like underoos. I don't know, whatever I guess you would call these. He does have a thigh swivel, single joint in the knee, and then you have a boot swivel, and then you have a rock and side to side in the ankle. So he's got all the articulation you would want. He looks fantastic, stands perfectly well. Very nice, evenly distributed weight. I think they did a great job with that. He does come with a second head, kind of a more angry, snarling head, which I think looks pretty good. And popping off the ball joints is pretty easy. You just go ahead and pop that off. And you can see what I was talking about before with the two barbell, like the barbell joint there. And then you just go ahead and pop the other one on. This one has a little bit of flashing in there. I should probably get that out of there first. Should have realized this earlier. Apologies. There we go. Sometimes that happens. You get a little piece of flashing or something. So we'll go ahead, pop this on. It's usually pretty easy. There we go. I guess that's on. Usually it pops. The other one pops really nice. But yeah, I love that face. That looks really, really cool. I think they did a great job with that. At first I thought I liked this one better, but now I don't know. Having that one on, it actually looks really good. And that one seems to maybe bend a little bit better. I don't know. But anyway, he looks pretty cool. I like it. He's also got a ton of other accessories. He's got extra hands. So you can see he's got kind of these like open hands. Not really quite sure what these would be for. I guess just maybe doing some kind of like scratching claw poses, maybe something like that. But of course he's got some gripping hands. Now I'll be honest with you, They look very similar to me. I don't really understand why I need two sets of gripping hands. They look very, very similar. Maybe one's slightly tighter than the other one. I don't know. But you basically get two sets of gripping hands that I think look pretty much the same. Now, what does he need to grip, you might ask? Well, of course, he's got the iconic Sword of Omens, which I think they did a great job on. Molded perfectly, painted beautifully. The Thundercats symbol there in the center looks pretty good. It's not pristine, but I think they did a pretty good job with how small it is. The one on his belt here, I think, looks so much... I mean, it's just perfect. The one on his belt looks absolutely fantastic. And I completely understand. It's much smaller. You can't really get that same level of detail. I mean, if they could, that would have been awesome, but I'm willing to give them a pass on it because this one looks really perfect, so I love that. You also have his Gauntlet Shield, which is kind of neat. So how they do this is, and I'm not sure which one... I think one came with the original Maddie collector, and then they gave us a new set. So basically, this is kind of like a fuzzier, I guess more realistic looking claw shield. And this is the one that you would peg into his arm. What you do is you just pop the hand out and you peg this in where the hand would go. And I'll show that off in a minute. And then you have this one, which has the little latch that you can see clips onto this little peg on his belt. And that's so he can wear it, you know, at his side as kind of like a sheath for the sword. And this one has the sword stuck down in there. Like, that's not coming out. That's just molded and painted in there. So that's that version. Then they have kind of what I think is more accurate to the cartoon, this kind of shinier, smoother version, which again, you just peg in, no problem. And I'll show that off in a minute. And then they gave us the hilt, or the sheath version, but this actually has a smaller version of the sword that you can actually take out. So I'm thinking the furrier one came with Maddie Collector, and then Super 7 went above and beyond and gave us this smaller version of the sword, which I love. I love having both versions of the sword. The kind of retracted and extended version. That's really, really cool. And I love the fact that it actually fits into the claw shield like it's supposed to. So that's really, really cool. I really appreciate that. Unfortunately, mine has a little paint defect, but what are you going to do? We'll just put that back in there and you can't even see it. So I think that's really cool. To show off how that works really quick, it's really very simple. You just pull the hand out and these come out pretty easily. Just pop out. And then this one that has the connection, you just put that in instead. And it just pops right on, and then boom, he's got claw shield. And that just looks great. They did a really great job with that. Really very nicely done. Just for fun, what does it look like if I put the sword in this super open hand? It's actually not terrible. It's actually not bad. You can kind of hold the sword there. Let's see if we get this in like a over his head kind of a pose. What do we think? Something like that. That's not bad. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. I absolutely love this figure. I think Super 7 did a great job. I'm very pleased with everything. If I had to complain about anything... I mean, like I said, I have a few minor paint scratches on a few things. But I mean, that's such a minor nitpick. Oh, I forgot to show off the Book of Omens. I almost forgot. This is another accessory it comes with. Doesn't open. Just a solid Book of Omens, but it's cool. A lot of different characters come with random little, you know, pieces like this of lore that kind of fit with the story. So it's kind of fun to just kind of flesh out your collection with these couple random items. So you can kind of recreate scenes from the show and whatnot. So here's the Book of Omens. He does come with that as well. But yeah, like I said, I mean, it's a great figure. Great accessories. If I had something to complain about, I don't know. I really don't know. I can't really think of anything. I mean, if this didn't come out, I would complain about that, but they thought about it, and they gave me the sword that comes out, and I love that. I love having both the small and the large version of the sword. I love that it clips on. And then, I guess, if I was going to do this, I would have the just be a peg hole on the waist, and then have the peg on this. That way you don't have that peg sticking out, but it's probably more structurally sound to do it this way. That's probably why they did it, so I can't even really complain about it. I mean, like I said, it's a tiny nitpick. I also love how this kind of like molds nicely to his calf. so when it's attached, it fits nicely and doesn't like lay weird. I mean, they really did think of everything. Now, again, I don't know if Super 7 created this mold or they just kind of tweaked it, but in either case, this is a really cool figure. And if you're a Thundercats fan, I definitely recommend checking these out. Originally, for the longest time, I wasn't going to buy into this line just because I thought it was kind of pricey. And I'm not going to lie, they're not the cheapest figures ever. But what you do get is a really nice, solid product. So if you're a fan of original Thundercats, if you're a child of the 80s like me, I definitely recommend picking these up, or at least looking into them, because they're really, really nice. I'm really, really happy. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.